So I made a video last week about Ilya Taporia calling out a group of Dagestani fighters, having some beef with them over Twitter, and then talking about Islam Makhachev being within his plans for the future. And now another step has been added, and that is a fight with Bilal Muhammad for the welterweight throne. Now, let's hypothetically say that Ilya beats Max Holloway, moves up to lightweight, and beats Islam. By some miracle, is able to clip Islam Makhachev right on the chin and crack him. And then he moves up and fights Bilal. And he beats Bilal. Well, that would make Ilya Taporia champ. That would make him the first or second, if Alex Pereira does it first, the first or second champ in UFC history. That's got to put you somewhere on the fucking GOAT list. I don't know. I don't care where it is. Could be middle, could be top 10. It puts you somewhere high up on the GOAT list. It has to. If you're able to beat Max Holloway, go up, fight Islam Makhachev and crack him, and then go up further and fight Bilal and crack him, you're getting something. You're getting something memorable. You're gonna get some slot on the GOAT list. Promise you that. But yeah, he's called out Bilal. He's been beefing with Bilal for a while now. He had that hilarious tweet about what was it, no finishes. He couldn't finish any man or woman, something like that. Something funny like that he did. Even Dricus was laughing at it. But he did roast Bilal, and him and Bilal have been going back and forth. And I think it's a plausible fight. It's a fight that could happen, you know. Again, he's got an almost insurmountable mountain to climb first in Max Holloway and Islam Makhachev. But let's say he does it and fights Bilal. How does that fight go? I think for me to give a prediction on that fight, I'd have to see how a fight between Ilya and Islam goes first, because Islam and Bilal are both excellent grapplers who have a somewhat, Dagestani style of grappling. I'd say somewhat for Bilal, but Islam has been raised there, so of course he has the full authentic Dagestani version of grappling. But Bilal is learning, and he's learning fast and he's learning well, and he showed a bit of that off when he fought Leon Edwards and dominated Leon Edwards at that. So I got to see how Ilya does against those amazing grapplers who are also pretty good on the feet. Islam is great on the feet, not pretty good, who are also great and excellent on the feet. Islam's excellent on the feet, and Bilal is showing some excellence as well, like he did against Leon Edwards when he dominated Leon Edwards. So, again, all this is plausible. Ilya could crack Max Holloway, decide to move right up and do the same shit to Islam and Bilal, but it all depends on how Ilya's power translates. Same thing we asked about Alex Pereira when he made his move to light heavyweight, and now he's considering his move to heavyweight. So it's all about how the power translates, because these guys are able to crack so many guys right on the chin, right on the top of the head, right to the body, wherever, and just put them out. And they've done that time and time again. And once they move up, it's a valid question. Will the power translate? Because these are bigger, heavier guys with stronger chins, more water in their brain. So it's going to make them tough. It's going to make it tougher for you to knock them out. So that's what you have to really consider. But, I would give Ilya the benefit of the doubt, considering how I've seen him train and his mindset. Those are two very, very important things that are needed to establish these amazing legacies. And I think that's what Ilya has. So I would give Ilya the benefit of the doubt and predict that the power does translate. My main concern is the reach. And that's why I chose Islam when I talked about a potential fight between Ilya and Islam. I think Islam is, I feel like he'll be able to utilize head kicks more, especially against a shorty like Ilya, especially against a short guy like Ilya, just like he did Volkanovski in their second fight. In the second fight between Islam and Volk, Islam was able to send that head kick right up there and clip Volk. He could do the same shit to Ilya. I really think it's extremely possible to do the same shit to Ilya, clip Ilya on the head because he's such a short guy, and sleep him, but it just depends on if Ilya is able to get in close range and send something devastating to the head of Islam, or does Ilya have good enough head movement to duck or evade those head kicks? And that's just the plight of the shorter fighter. He's got to take a page out of the book of good short fighters who are able to do what's necessary to beat a taller fighter. That's what Ilya is going to have to do if he hopes to move up to lightweight, beat the lightweight champion, and then move up to welterweight and beat the welterweight champion. And then he's got to also make sure that grappling is damn good too. Even though Ilya did say in a recent interview, he's been doing all these fucking interviews. He did say in a recent interview, he said that he believes his grappling is even better than his stand-up game. So that's a heavy statement. That's a statement that you really got to watch out for. So maybe his grappling is that good, and maybe he can go band for band, bar for bar with Islam and Bilal. Only time will tell. But again, if I have to be real thorough and specific with you guys about how a fight between Bilal and Ilya goes, I could only say, depending upon how they've been fighting now in their different respective weight classes, and I'm going to assume that Ilya's power is able to translate, I'd give it to Ilya. I'd give it to Ilya because, again, he does have good ground game, and I think there's going to be a moment in that fight where he'll be able to have Bilal against the fence. And once Ilya has you against the fence, you're not left with many options. You really aren't. You got to do your best to move and tuck that damn chin. That's all I can really say. I think there would be a moment, and this is depending upon now. I'm assuming that Ilya's power does translate. There could be a moment where Ilya does have Bilal against the cage, backed up. Bilal may try to slip out, use that Canelo boxing style he's got, and Ilya cuts him off, puts on that pressure, maybe adds a little feint in there, goes to the body, right upstairs to the chin, and sleeps Bilal. Could do the same shit to Islam too. But again, I doubt it because of how devastating and swift Islam Makhachev's head kicks are. So I think Islam has a good chance of beating Ilya. I would go with Islam. And if Islam was to beat Ilya, then of course Ilya is not going to move to welterweight. So, but in this potential hypothetical fight between Bilal and Ilya, which could happen if Ilya is able to beat Islam, which is a tall order, assuming Ilya's power translates, I think Ilya gets it done. I keep using this weird ass word sequence, but as good as a grappler as Bilal is, Ilya, his ground game is there, and that power and that boxing IQ is just so smooth and strong that I think he's going to be able to pressure Bilal. And Bilal, again, he's a point fighter. He is good on the feet. He knows what to do. He knows how to take his time and move at his own pace. But I think Ilya will be able to disrupt that, get Bilal against the cage, and sleep him. Assuming his power translates. If it does not, however, then I may swing to Bilal's side because again, Bilal has that pace and that striking style and that grappling format where he can start to own the fight. He can control the fight at his will, you know, because he's got that tool set and that set of skills where he can control the exchanges. He can move in for takedowns when he wants, and then he could basically grapple his ass off too on the ground if he wants to. That being said, Ilya's grappling is also great, but given that Bilal is a taller fighter, that striking, that distance, that range comes in handy as well. There's a lot of things that goes against Ilya in that fight, but Ilya's power translation, if Ilya is able to bring that same amount of power to welterweight, I think that power can set in a lot of questions, and it can negate a lot of Bilal's tools and skills. So we just got to wait and see. But, you know, like I said, if Ilya's power translates, I'll go Ilya. If it does not, I'll go Bilal. It all depends on the fight between Ilya and Islam and how that goes. But you let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, comment, but most importantly, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next.